Let's be real, every nonprofit is in a constant race to achieve its mission with pretty limited resources. But what if the secret to winning that race wasn't just about working harder, but actually working smarter? Today, we're going to dig into how data can turn that constant scramble for funding into a real strategy for long-term success. Okay, let's start with a really simple but powerful idea. Picture a nonprofit's entire donor community as a big bucket of water. You work like crazy to fill it up, right? Inspiring people, bringing in support, but there's a huge problem. The bucket is leaking all the time. Donors are just dripping away, and keeping that bucket full feels like an exhausting uphill battle. And that leak? It brings us to the one question that keeps every single fundraiser up at night. You've made a connection with someone. They believed in what you do enough to give you their own money. So why do the vast majority of them just disappear? Finding the answer to that is everything. It's the key to survival. And here is the actual size of that leak. And honestly, it's pretty shocking. On average, less than 1 out of every 5 first-time donors will ever make a second gift. Just let that sink in for a second. More than 80% of all the effort, the time, the money you spend to find one new supporter just vanishes after that first donation. So how in the world do you plug the holes in that bucket? Well, the answer isn't just to fundraise harder or to shout your message louder. It's about fundraising smarter. And the solution lies in using data, not just to count the dollars, but to actually understand your donors and build real, lasting relationships with them. Let's get really clear on this. When we say data, it's so easy for your eyes to glaze over, right? You picture these complex, soulless spreadsheets, but that's not what this is about, not at all. We're talking about a tool for empathy. It's about using information to understand the actual human beings who believe in your cause, what motivates them, how they want to connect, and what makes them feel like they're a valued part of your story. To do that, we have to zero in on the numbers that tell the real story of an organization's health. This means we have to learn to ignore the vanity metrics. You know, things like social media likes that feel nice but don't actually pay the bills. Instead, we've got to focus on the key performance indicators that really drive growth and impact. And the most important metric of all, hands down, it's donor retention. This number is so much more than just a percentage. It's a direct reflection of how strong your relationships are with your supporters. You could even say it's the ultimate report card on how many people are truly with you for the long haul. And this chart, wow, it shows you exactly why retention is the name of the game. Just look at that jump. By getting someone to give a second time, the retention rate more than doubles. And once a donor has given multiple times, they are way more likely to become a loyal champion for your cause. So the takeaway is this: that second gift isn't just another donation, it's the bridge to loyalty. All right, next up is cost per dollar raised, or CPDR for short. Think of this as your fundraising efficiency score. It answers a really simple but powerful question. For every single dollar you bring in, how many cents did you have to spend to get it? The most successful nonprofits work hard to keep this number as low as they possibly can. And here's why that efficiency is so critical. I mean, this comparison is just wild. It can cost an organization $1.50 just to get $1 from a brand new donor. But to raise that same dollar from someone who's already a supporter, only 20 cents. The financial case for focusing on your existing donors isn't just strong, it's a slam dunk. And finally, let's talk about donor lifetime value, or LTV. If CPDR is your efficiency score, then LTV is basically your crystal ball. It helps you see beyond a single donation and actually predict the total value a supporter might bring to your organization over their entire relationship with you. This is the metric that lets you shift from just reacting to being truly strategic. You know, as Paul Matthews Brokenshire from Salesforce.org puts it, really getting a handle on these numbers is what separates the good fundraisers from the great ones. It's all about being able to prove your return on investment and making a powerful, evidence-based case for why your mission deserves more support. Okay, so we know the metrics that matter. We get it. But knowing what to track is only half the battle, right? The real question is, how do you actually put all this knowledge to work? How do you go from theory to action? Well, let's break it down into a simple plan that any nonprofit can start using right away. It really boils down to these 3 steps. First, you have to set clear, specific goals. You can't hit a target you can't see, so define what success looks like from the start. Second, get the right tools to collect and analyze your data. This doesn't have to be super complicated, but it does have to be intentional. And third, and this is the most important part, you have to act on what you learn. Use those insights to tweak your approach and make your strategy better over time. It's a constant cycle of learning and improving. Now, you might be thinking this is all pretty standard stuff, but this is why that action plan is so important. Get this. A staggering 76% of nonprofits admit they don't have a real comprehensive analytic strategy. That is a massive opportunity just waiting to be seized. It means most organizations are basically flying blind, relying on guesswork instead of knowledge. And just look at the incredible payoff when you close that gap. Here's a huge takeaway. One of the most powerful fundraising tools you have is just being transparent about your impact and backing it up with data. When you can clearly show people the results of your work, your supporters respond with amazing generosity. So, what does all this look like in the real world? When a nonprofit really commits to a data-driven culture, the results aren't just small little improvements. They are truly game-changing, and they affect everything from how you raise money to how you actually deliver on your mission. First off, your communication just gets so much more effective. When you use data to understand what your donors actually care about, you can tailor your messages just for them. That kind of personalization leads to a 40% higher response rate. You're no longer just shouting into the void. You're actually starting a conversation. And this is so important. This isn't just about raising more money. The very same insights that make your fundraising better also help you run your programs more effectively. Analytics can lead to a 25% improvement in program effectiveness, which means every dollar and every hour you have creates the biggest possible impact. And let's bring this powerful number back one more time, because it really connects everything. When you use data to improve your programs, and then you use that same data to be transparent about your impact, your supporters reward you. It creates this amazing positive cycle. Better data leads to better results, which builds more trust, which brings in more funding. And at the end of the day, this is what it's all about. As Owen Feinegan, the CEO of the Kids Cancer Project, says, every extra dollar raised and every little bit of efficiency gained isn't for the sake of a spreadsheet. It's about getting more resources directly to the mission, in his case, fighting childhood cancers. And that's really the final crucial thought here. Data analytics is what helps a nonprofit evolve. It's the tool that moves an organization from just relying on good intentions to being able to prove its impact with real, evidence-based results. So the real question to leave you with is this: how much more impact could your favorite cause have if it truly embraced the power of its own data?